All right, guys. Jamie here, Restoration Marketing Group. Appreciate you hopping on today. Some of you were on January's webinar. It was, your 2020 internet marketing plan for, your damage restoration business, whether it be water, fire, mold, storm damage, the usual stuff. So this is kind of one of the components of your overall marketing strategy and plan, right? There's a lot of things you should be doing in today's world. From an online marketing standpoint, I mean, it is 2020. The internet and online marketing is here to stay, I'd say, at this point. So we're going to look at one piece of the puzzle today, and that's more or less your online reputation and why it's important and why it's becoming more and more important in today's day and age, and kind of how you can ramp up your review process, which ultimately will help with grow your business, right? At the end of the day, that's what it's about. So, and also taking care of your customers at the same time, obviously. But today we're gonna talk about why you can have all the best tools in the world, but still fail at driving 5-star reviews if you're not using what the processes you have in place. We're going to talk about the power of having multi-channel communication with your customers to increase your review count. And we're going to talk a little bit about why everybody in your company needs to be on board, and we look at it as like a team sport for getting reviews. It can't just be one person running around trying to do all the grunt work. It really needs to be there needs to be a proactive team approach in place, and really like a team culture built around getting as many hopefully 5-star reviews as possible. Why you need to respond to the reviews, whether there be good reviews or bad reviews. And and we'll talk, you can have this taken care of you if you don't have the time. If you're running around checking on jobs yourself, you don't really have time to follow up on the reviews. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. So I'm gonna try to keep this short and sweet. Like I said, I know we're all busy. We got plenty of work to do. But I would ask that you can just focus and pay attention. You're here today, so you might as well get the most out of it. Silence your cell phones. Get off Instagram, Facebook, and grab a pen and notepad, or you can take notes on your computer if you'd like. That way you can remember any key points that I bring up today that you want to remember and take back to your team, and go ahead and get implemented as quickly as possible. So this will probably be closer to 45 to 60 minutes, not that long. So I'll try to keep it short and sweet for you guys. But I think if you stick around to the end, I think you'll get a lot from it, and it'll really help you ramp up your business here in 2020. So some of you, I recognize the names. I think you've been on here before. I also recognize some new names on here. I mean, this isn't about me, this is about you, but real quick, I do speaking on internet marketing. I have a construction background, more specifically general construction and contracting. I work for subcontracting, not directly with mitigation on the mitigation side, but we've been working with mitigation companies for years now. So obviously you pick up a few things working with that many clients and listening to that many call recordings and having that many conversations. So been in construction before I shifted over to the marketing side for construction companies. So this is what we do. Online marketing for restoration companies is our bread and butter. This is just a few of our clients that we've helped out. So let me ask you a question. So why did you show up here today? I would say most of you have come to the point to realize that online reviews and your reputation can make or break your company these days. As far as landing work. And I've seen, and what we're seeing, because we track the data with our clients, these are becoming more and more important. Think about how when I shop for a home service provider in my local town, I look at the 3-pack and I look at the reviews, who has the highest rating, who has the most reviews. I pick up the phone and make the call. And I'm in this business, right? So I know how it all works, how you can tweak the rankings, this and that. But normally that's how I shop, and we're seeing that more and more customers and consumers it's trending that way as well, based on the number of jobs our clients are getting through the Google My Business listings, which, you know, where reviews ties into. So we're seeing it. I think it's definitely heading that direction. Your online, because, you know, people know they can get on the internet and check out your reputation, look at your reviews and stuff like that. So it's becoming more and more important. But one thing is that's frustrating is that, you know, it doesn't always reflect the top quality service you provide. You know, there are some people out there that, you know, no matter what you do, they're just going to be frustrated. There's just difficult people out there, right? Like, I think it's just something we often come to terms with. Every now and then you can, you know, you know, there's nothing else you can do. People are just going to leave. I mean, unless you like write them a check, you know, for $1,000, they're just, you know, no matter which way you go about it, they're just going to leave you. So that's just, I mean, that's the nature of the business. But if you keep providing top quality service, usually people will, you know, retaliate with, or not retaliate, but they'll give you a 5-star review in return, right? And ultimately, you just want to drown out the bad reviews that slip through sometimes. But and a lot of, you know, you have invested in the best tools, but you're still not, you know, getting the amount of reviews in place that you need, right? And that's kind of why I mentioned earlier, the whole team needs to be on board, and it needs to be, you know, part of the team culture. So, and the thing is too, like, even if you're running Google paid ads, you're ranking well, and you're getting phone calls, this can still really hurt your conversion, because if you're, you know, if people are going to snoop around, like sometimes people will be like, I'll call you back. Like, you know, sometimes if somebody's basement's flooded, they'll just whatever, right? The first one to answer the phone gets the job. But sometimes people are like, you know, let me talk to my husband, or let me talk to my wife, and I'll call you back, and then they'll snoop around on the internet real quick, check out your views, and then call you back. So, and we've seen this happen too, because we record the calls, like people, and I'll tell you all a story in a little bit. I mean, we had well, I'll just go ahead and tell you now, actually. So recently, we had a guy come to us, and he's getting all of his work from TPA, third-party administrators, and he didn't really think he needed to worry about his Google My Business listing or his reviews or anything like that. And this is the crazy thing. And, you know, I was talking with him, and he was thinking about, you know, having us build him a website and rank his Google My Business. And he's like, I don't really think it matters. And I was like, you know, you can believe what you want, but we think it matters, and, you know, we have some data to back it up. A week later, he calls me back. He's like, Jamie, I just lost $100,000 job because this guy checked out my reviews, checked out the competition's reviews, and decided to go with the competition because our reviews weren't very good and our website looked like it was built in 1980. I kid you not, $100,000 job. So, I mean, it blew my mind. I was like, well, I was trying to tell you the whole time that you need, you know, your website and your reputation and reviews is important. He's like, yeah, well, I believe you now. But now he knows, right? And we're fixing that for him. So I'm telling you, and that's just the one that, like, the customer tells you about, right? Like, the customer's not always going to tell you, like, hey, I checked out the competition, decided to go to the competition. Most times they're just going to pick the competition and roll, right? They're not going to, like, call you back and let you know. That customer was nice enough to let him know. So it's extremely important. So there's, I mean, a big opportunity, right, for everybody to work on their reviews and improve the reputation. Even if yours isn't that good, you can bring up your rating, especially in the Google My Business rate area. So, I mean, don't think if you haven't been doing this yet, or if your reviews are, you know, not very good, don't think that you don't have a shot to improve it, because you definitely do. I mean, ultimately, you want to be the oh man, hang on, we're having some there we go, technical difficulties. But you want to be the provider of choice in your service area and stand out from the competition, right? You don't want to be, nobody wants to be mediocre, right? You want to be the best in the business at what you do. And I mean, if you took the time to join me today, then I imagine that's, you know, one of your goals is to be one of the best restoration companies in your service area and stand out, you know, from the competition, which will ultimately lead to more work, right, at the same time. So one thing, you know, a lot of you are probably already using some of these tools, or if you're working with a marketing company, that they're maybe implementing some of these tools for you. But you want to make sure you're using them. We've seen it sometimes where people will have things in place, or they won't even realize they have a tool and they're not using it. So you really have to get everybody on board to drive up the number of reviews you get. And then ultimately that'll have, your reputation speak for itself online. Because, everybody's going to try to talk a big talk, but, the reviews are from real customers will actually back up, what you're telling somebody. If you do the recon stuff and the rebuild, people might shop it around a little bit. They might get 3 estimates. They're going to do their research. And you might not be there in person to convince them otherwise why you're the best company for them to go with. So if you have your online presence built out, your reviews in place, like I said, the reviews will be able to speak for itself. They'll give you a call back, or when you follow up with them and call back, you'll be able to land a job. So, and another key aspect too is, your rank. This is your Google My Business reviews is a ranking signal for getting the 3-pack. And I'm gonna do another webinar this year about a 3-pack, but I did one last year. Just so everybody on here knows, like, we're seeing 3/4 of our clients' calls they're getting every month. 3/4 of them are coming through the Google My Business and the 3-pack. Once you get in that 3-pack, the calls explode. So, and the reviews is a ranking signal for getting that 3-pack. It's not the end all be all. Just because you're getting reviews doesn't mean you're going to get there. But it does help because Google likes seeing the activities. Like, hey, this customer's getting a ton of 5-star reviews. They must do good work. Let's give them a few extra points and get them in the 3-pack. So just keep that in mind too. Not only building out a good reputation, it is a ranking signal for getting into the 3-pack. So, I've kind of already answered this question, but do online reviews matter? Yes, they do. And here's a couple crazy statistics too. 84% of people trust an online review as much as they do a personal recommendation. That's crazy. And I think about how I shop. I mentioned this earlier too. I look at online reviews. You can read enough. Like, all right, this sounds good. This sounds like the company I want to work with. I trust them. Make the phone call. Let's proceed. So I believe it. And 77% of consumers think the reviews more than 3 months old aren't relevant. So that's, again, backs up the point that you need to actively be getting fresh reviews, new reviews. And that's funny. You don't really think about that, but when I shop too, you think like, yeah, this guy's got a 5-star review 2 years ago. Like, he's still in business. Like, what's he doing? Why didn't he have any fresh reviews? So I think it does help with conversion if you have fresh reviews. Like, somebody got a 5-star review a week ago. It's like, all right, man, this people must have the same crew running. This crew's doing good work on Bob's house. He must do good work on my house. Like, I think there's some weird subconscious stuff that goes on in people's mind about that. But I believe it because I think about it when I look at reviews, right? And I'm sure many of you on here can relate on, when you search for home service providers in your area. Outside of, personal recommendations and references, from just being in the construction world. But if you actually go to Google to look, I imagine a lot of you look at the online reviews. So I think we can, that confirms, that's enough data right there that especially Google reviews are mission critical. That's kind of what we push most of our clients to go for because we understand the importance of getting a 3-pack. So why not, it's kind of like a 1-2 punch, right? Not only do you help build your reputation, but also as a ranking signal to knock out 2 birds with 1 stone, more or less. So, and just here's a few examples, like, if you were shopping for water damage restoration, right? So, here's a client, he's number 2 in the 3-pack, but look at his reviews versus everybody else. 72 versus 15 and 22. Now, that's not always the case, but that's the first thing I noticed when you look at this, right? And I imagine customers are going to notice that as well, right? They're like, damn, this guy's got 72 reviews versus, the next guy only has 22, 15. I'm going to pick up the call. If my basement's flooded, you're not going to put too much thought into it. Pick up the phone and make the call, right? And this is just to go show you, and this is just in a month, but 40 41 calls just through Google My Business alone, right? So that's not all the calls in general. That's just Google My Business. So yeah, I mean, it definitely drives some leads and drives some sales. So I don't want anybody to think that, you know, nobody's. Some people still think that nobody's going on the internet to find water damage help, and I can promise you that is not the case. So here's another example. This client has 51 reviews versus 6 and 17, right? I mean, it's when people are shopping, they're going to notice that. I see they only have a 4-star rating, which isn't the worst I've seen, but it's not the best. So this client recently came on board, and as you can see, we're already getting them in a 3-pack. But now we're helping them get more and more 5-star reviews. We need to drive up that 4.0. Like, we need to drive that up to a 4.8, 4.9, which we'll do over time for sure. But they just need to make sure that obviously they're providing you know, top quality work. But as you can see here too, past 30 days, 46 calls just from Google My Business alone. That's not even including any other channels like, you know, Google paid ads, website, organic rankings. This is just Google My Business stuff. So I just want to reiterate how important the Google My Business profile is, and how important the reviews are for standing out, you know, from the competition. Because once you get in here, okay, that's step one. But once you're there, the reviews kind of come into play, obviously, from a conversion standpoint. So they are mission critical, like I've said. I've already mentioned they do impact your Google rankings. And I mean, 88% of consumers look at online reviews. I mean, it's basically, I mean, almost 9 out of 10 people. You can almost assume that's everybody. Assume everybody's going to check you out one way or the other. And it is a, you know, major conversion factor, kind of like I mentioned. So, you know, everybody can take a few seconds just to think about, I mean, what are you currently doing to get reviews? Why is this important to you? Are you trying to like dominate your local market? I mean, obviously at the end of the day, we want to take care of your clients and customers, right? And if you do a good job, you just want them to, you know, most people will have no problem leaving you a 5-star review as long as you take care of them and do what do what you say you're going to do, right? So that could be your why, right? And why this is important to you. So there are kind of 5 key principles I'm going to go over real quick to helping you get more reviews and increase your online reputation, or improve your online reputation. So, I mean, number one, this might seem obvious, but sometimes it's not for whatever reason, but you need to provide a world-class customer experience and make sure your techs in the field are on the same page, right? Like, we all, you know, as business owners, like, we all know, like, that's our main goal, right? We want to take care of our customers. We want to create, I don't know if you've ever heard it called like raving fan customers, right? You want them to be your cheerleaders. You want to wow them, like, man, this is awesome. So glad I'm working with you. Like, that's what you want to do with your clients. But you also want to make sure your team is on the same page, right? And that they want to wow the customer experience. Some care more than others, but you try to want to, you know, you can even do team huddles, right? To like we used to do back when I was in construction, toolbox meetings, right? Everybody meet around the truck in the morning, talk about the day, and then you can reiterate about the top level service you want to provide when you're, you know, drying out the houses, doing the rebuild, mold removal, whatever it may be. And this kind of, you know, that kind of ties into point number 2, is it needs to be more technical difficulties. There we go. But it needs to be a team experience in your culture. So, and I'll give you a tip too. It could almost be like a job description, like for your techs, like part of their job description, their duties is, all right, you go to the house, you perform the work. Like, you have to ask for the review before you get in the truck and pack up and leave, right? And that's just a little tidbit too for conversions. Some people, before they come to us, they just wait till they get back in the office and they shoot the homeowner an email. But the thing about that is the email might get lost in the 100 spam emails that, you know, the customers get in a day, right? But if you're face to face and you train your techs to ask for the review right there whether they have an app on their phone or they can just pull up the Google My Business listing there on their phone and say, hey, Bob, if you're happy with the work I just did, if you don't mind, do you mind leaving a review real quick? So if you get all your techs and your field personnel on the same page to do that, we've seen that really help conversion rates and skyrocket the number of reviews that you can get, from your team. Now, and another thing you can do is track, like if you've got 5 techs out, running around doing work, is, track how many reviews each of them are getting, right? And then you can even sell it. They could get like a gift card. Like whoever gets their most reviews in February, gets a $100 gift card to Outback or whatever, Starbucks, Amazon, whatever you want to do. But you can almost build that into your culture to where your techs, to try to get them excited about getting the reviews, right? So it's a win-win for everybody. It's a win-win for the customer because they're getting, world-class service, which will lead to a 5-star review for you and your company and the reputation. And then the tech might get, if he's incentivized or he or she's incentivized, they might be pumped because they get like I said, a $50 Amazon gift card or whatever. Y'all can, get creative with that. But, typically whatever you measure tends to improve, right? You can't manage what you don't measure is the saying, right? So we do recommend that you measure, inspect, and celebrate. And then that way you can that'll help build it into your culture. Everybody will get excited. And like I said, it's just a win-win for everybody. And so for one way to do that is you want to, leverage the best-in-class tools to help you do this. And there's different ways to do this, depending on whether you're doing it yourself or you're working with marketing companies, use different tools, but they're all basically the same thing in a sense, right? But make sure, if you're doing the SMS, like we recommend, the texting seems to work really well. You can use it through the app. Your text can have an app on their phone that they could either send a text message to the customer or just, hand the phone over to the customer while they're on site. That works really well. You can email them, and if that doesn't work for whatever reason, the homeowner had to leave, and so you couldn't ask them, don't give up then, right? You can get back to the office, shoot them an email, and then the office manager the next day could do a follow-up call if the review still hasn't been. So you can be a little proactive on this. You can't just, shoot out a ton of emails and just cross your fingers that somebody's going to do it. If you take the initiative to make a few extra phone calls or emails or text messages to try to get the review, I think you'll notice your conversion rate will go up a little bit. Guarantee it, right? It's a numbers game. And then one thing you want to do is respond to the reviews. Is just say, if somebody's like, oh, I'm gonna make this up, but thanks, ABC Restoration. I was freaking out because my basement flooded, but you guys got here promptly, dried it out, did the rebuild. Everything looks like new again. David was a great tech. I appreciate it. And then you would want to come back in and say, hey, no problem, Debbie. We were glad to take care of you. And I'll tell you a little trick right here too. This might be the webinar, worth the webinar in itself. When you respond to the reviews, you can put keywords in the review, which Google will see as a signal, which can be just another point, like I mentioned earlier, in the ranking in the 3-pack. So what I would do is be like, hey, no problem, Debbie. Glad we could take care of you. In your emergency water damage restoration problem. I'm making this up, obviously. It would sound a little better than this, but you guys get the point. You can put keywords in the review, and Google reads the reviews and everything on the Google My Business profile. Obviously, you want it to make sense, right? Don't keyword stuff it because Google can see that too. But just you could take a few minutes to think about how can I. And the good thing is mold removal. Obviously, you want to talk about. You could say if she said mold removal, you could say, hey, no problem. We're glad we could do a great mold remediation job. So that way you're playing off of, right? She said mold removal, you said mold remediation. There's 2 different good mold keywords that you have in the review and the review response, right? Not many people are doing that. Not many people know that. So that, I'm telling y'all, if y'all run with that alone, that's worth the webinar in itself. I mean, stay on here till the end. I got some good stuff for you, but I'm telling you that right there is extremely powerful and working really well. So, you know, out of those top 5, I mean, are you already doing all 5 with you and your team? Are there, you know, one of those points that you like more than the others that you really want to, you know, today's Friday, you might not be able to implement it today, but you know, if y'all do Monday meetings or whatever, y'all can implement that next week. So take a few seconds and think about, you know, which one of those that you want to work on in the near future. And I think that'll really help you out. So here's a few strategies for driving consistent reviews. I mean, I've kind of touched on from a high level on some of these, but you want to use any tools you have, whether you have your own tool, if you're currently working with a marketing company, I'm sure they have something, hopefully, that they're helping you implement. And another strategy is you could leave a printed review card if you want to, you know, almost like a reminder, like, hey, whenever you get a chance, leave us a 5-star review. That would be another strategy. I kind of already talked about training your text to plant the seed. And I mean, the good thing about this too is that if they know they have to ask for a review, they're going to be thinking about that while they're doing the work. So they want to make sure that they're personal with the client, they're keeping them happy, they're doing good work. So I mean, there's so many benefits to this from all angles. You can have somebody call from the office. We've seen this done as well. If like, let's say the text the customer, they don't respond for whatever reason, you know, follow-up call the next day, be like, hey, Debbie, if you're still happy, if you don't mind, I can walk you through the process real quick. If you don't mind leaving us a review, I'd appreciate it. That's just an example. And I kind of already talked about the company culture, but everybody needs to be on the same page. And then you do want to hit the reviews from multiple angles: emails, text, apps, you know, phone calls, postcards. There's a lot of different ways, and I'd recommend doing it as many as possible, or hitting, you know, doing multiple touches on that customer until you get the review. I mean, some people just aren't going to do it right. This is what it is. But if you're hitting them from multiple angles and multiple touch points, that'll increase the odds big time. So here's a few tools. A lot of you guys are familiar with a lot of these. Some of you may not be, but these are kind of more of the bigger players right now on getting reviews. And like I said, if you're currently, you know, doing this yourself, I'm sure you might be using one of these, or if you're with a marketing company, hopefully they're leveraging one of these for you. I just want to show you that so you guys can see some of the big ones. And make sure, I kind of, like I said, make sure you're responding to the reviews. I already gave you guys the tip about as far as keywords go. But we have seen it works best when, like, an office manager, or normally there's somebody, depending on how big your company is. If you're just starting out and you're not doing too many jobs yet, it might be you that has to do that, which is fine. But if you're a bigger company, you know, you'll have somebody in the office that kind of helps with admin stuff. We've seen it work really well when their job is like, all right, you're in charge of reviews. Anything you see come through, you need to type a response. And then, you know, also negative reviews, like I talked about, come up with a strategy to, you know, sometimes even if somebody's pissed off, you can reach out to them. And if it's just one little, like, thing that they want to change or whatever, you might even be able to change it. Hey, you know, Bob, since I fixed I painted your baseboard that we forgot to paint or whatever, if you don't mind, can you change the 3-star review to a 5-star review? I'd appreciate it. And some people will do that. So before you respond to them online, you might be able to fix the problem, you know, with going back to the customer's house or with a phone call, and then get that 3-star changed to a 5-star. Then you could type, you know, respond to the review after that. So this is just an example of what it looks like. You can, from your Google My Business dashboard, there is a place where you can go in and respond to the reviews here. And this is just a few examples where you just want to come in and just say, hey, we appreciate your business, blah, blah, blah. So you can do that from your Google My Business dashboard, which, I'm assuming most of you guys have your Google My Business set up, but you can respond to there. Or if you're leveraging some of the softwares like we do with our clients, you can actually respond to reviews inside the dashboard as well, which is another option. So I'm sure, many of you guys have, you can do that with the companies you're working with. So extremely important. Start reviewing, and like I said, I'll say it again because I'm telling you, this is slick. Not many people are doing it. But don't get crazy with the keywords, but drop some keywords into your review responses, and over time, I'm telling you, it'll help. So that's my tip of the day. And something else I haven't mentioned yet too that helps is this is another good tip actually. Something we're seeing we've been working with our clients on is working really well is you can incentivize your text. Hey, every 5-star review you get, I'll give you $25, or I'll give you a $25 gift card, or I'll give you a $50 gift card. I mean, we've seen people do up to 50. Like depends on how many takes you have, how big your company is, and how important reviews are to you. But we've seen that work extremely well. Like, hey, I'll give you a $50 gift card for every 5-star review you get. So I mean, not only does it help get more reviews, the tech knows like to get a 5-star review, he's gonna have to do good work and take care of the customer. So again, it's kind of like a 1-2 punch to knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. That's working really well also. So I just want to let you guys know about that. So, for those that you're on my webinar in January, we're seeing that an all-in approach is crucial for 2020 to getting the most business and just dominating your local market. So today, we kind of talked about the reputation management and reviews aspect, but I recommend all of you guys just taking, be thinking about all these different things throughout the year, and then maybe Q1 you do this, Q2 you do this. I mean, you can kind of knock out all these in one round too. If you have the time, or if you're working with a company that can help you take care of it. But I just want to show you too that I kind of already showed you some results on why the Google My Business and reviews are important. But as you can see, this client has a ton of reviews, and it also the Google My Business reviews pulls up the websites as well, right? So they got 63 leads in a month. Here's another client, 73 calls just from Google My Business. I mean, that's rocking and rolling right there. So once you factor in website calls, paid traffic calls, you're 100 plus. That's not bad, as we all know in the restoration, which is not like plumbers where there's 30 people calling the plumbers a day. Only so many people's houses flood, right, in a day in each city we're in. So here's another one, 80 calls in a month. So I do recommend figuring out your all-in approach for your marketing in 2020, especially the review aspect that we talked about. And I don't know if you guys have seen this or not. It's a pretty cool interview I do with Corey. Awesome guy. It's short and sweet, but he kind of just talks about what it did for his company when he worked with us on just getting his internet marketing right. And he grew like crazy. I mean, it doesn't happen overnight, but once you get the momentum going, there's people shopping online for restoration. I can promise you that. So I can put this in the chat box if you guys haven't had a chance to watch that interview I did with him or not. Now, some of you guys can run with this information I've given you today, implement it yourself. More power to you. Basically giving you everything you need. But some of you, I guess, don't really have the time or want to deal with it. And if you want us to help you with that, that's always an option, right? It's up to you. Whether you work with us or not, that's like I said, it's up to you. But if you do want to talk with me about your 2020 internet marketing or your review and reputation plan, we can do that. You can post a let's talk in the comments, and then you and I can coordinate on hopping on a call, see if we can help you. And actually, I am going to do, for everybody that stayed on here to the end, just because I was in a good mood when I was putting these together, I am going to run a special for everybody that showed up live today. If you are in the position where you're looking to, work with somebody on your paid ads, your reputation management, your website, your Google Maps, whatever you need help with, I'm going to offer 10% off if you want to come on board with us for the first 5 clients only. We want to make sure we can take care of everybody. We can't just, give this out to 100 people. But the first 5 that come on board with us, and when you and I talk, if you just say, hey, 228 reputation webinar, I was on the webinar, then I'll know we'll knock off 10% of your pricing for you, which can add up too, obviously, right, over time. So that's a huge deal. So that's kind of all I got for you guys. Appreciate you coming on. I can hang out for a few minutes and answer any questions. Let's see, I got a few. I'll put in the chat box for you guys too with if you haven't watched the case study yet, you can schedule a call on there. And but yeah, let me know any questions you guys have. So I got a few messages here. Awesome webinar. Thanks for sharing. I'll be in touch. Yeah, no problem, Katie. Thanks for hopping on. Thanks for hopping on. Yeah, if you guys want to schedule a call with me. All right, cool. Yeah. Luis, looking forward to talking with you. Good deal.